Well, more questions about then Vice President Joe Biden's, controversial trip back in 2015 to Ukraine. We've got a newly serviced photo. Take a look at this photo. It shows Biden aboard Air Force Two. He's being briefed by an advisor who is apparently in communication with both Hunter Biden and Hunter Biden's associates at Burisma. This briefing happening right before Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion in U.S. aid if Ukraine did not fire their prosecutor. Their prosecutor general was Victor Shokin, and he was investigating corruption at Burisma. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer joined this program yesterday with his take. Watch.
This is always going to end with the Bidens coming in front of the committee. We are going to subpoena the family. If I had subpoenaed Joe and Hunter Biden the first day I became chairman of the committee, it would have been tied up in court and the judge would have eventually thrown it out. We have put together a case that I think would stand up in any court of law in America, and we hope to hear from the Biden soon. But I wish the media would ask the president, what exactly did your family do to receive this $21 million that the House Oversight Committee has proven? He just continues to say, well, that's a lie. That's not true. We have their bank records, Maria. Bank records don't lie.
And joining me right now is South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman, a member of the House Budget, Financial Services, and Rules Committee. Congressman, good morning to you. Your reaction to all of this?
Well, Maria, it just shows this Biden administration knows no ends. As James Comer said, they've got records that don't lie. They've got letters dating back to the vice president and Devin Archer saying that he's needs to be at the meeting. Sorry, couldn't be. I mean, what more do they need do we need to start an inquiry? And would any American across this great country get by with what Joe Biden has? So this is just the tip of the iceberg. Where were the FBI back starting in 2000 when he was vice president in 2011, 2012? Where was the CIA? Where's the IRS asking questions? No, it takes a committee we've been in power since January to unearth all of this, and it's an insult, to be honest with you.
It's pretty outrageous. I agree with that. And we're getting, drips and drabs of it from the Oversight Committee, and yet the Democrats will not acknowledge it. I mean, this is something that both sides should agree on, right? We don't want somebody in the White House selling influence and pocketing the cash and making policy decisions.
Well, Maria, this president promised to be the most transparent president known to man. Why isn't he volunteering this? He's thrown up every roadblock to prevent this? If he's that honest, he thinks he can get by with just saying, I'm innocent. Could any American get by with just saying that? No, the evidence points otherwise, and we're going to drag him in or drag his people in and get more information, and hopefully we will have an inquiry that broadens the scope of what James Comer's committee can do, and let the American people judge and let them see. And hopefully it will come sooner rather than later.
Well, equally as extraordinary, Congressman, is the fact that all of this evidence keeps flowing out, and yet the DOJ continues attacking Donald Trump. Special counsel Jack Smith is proposing that the former president's January 6th trial begin on January 2nd. Of next year. That is just weeks before the Iowa caucuses, Congressman. So this is right in the middle of a presidential election where they'd like Donald Trump to be on trial. Your thoughts?
Maria, their intent is to try to derail Donald Trump. That's not their job. Their job is to tell the American people the truth. And I will tell you this, that the job for the 87,000 IRS agents starts at Pennsylvania Avenue. And, they shouldn't go after anybody like they're going after Donald Trump. But the fact is that's what they're doing. And the good news is we're getting to the bottom of it, and we're finding out exactly what happened. And, again, no American could get by with what this president has gotten by with. And just to say he's innocent is not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's quite ironic that Joe Biden keeps telling everybody to pay our fair share. And he's even wanting to go after waitress tips at restaurants. And yet, look at the $20 million that James Comer told us about yesterday, that there were no taxes paid on that $20 million. And, of course, he admitted to tax evasion. Hunter did. Meanwhile, this is clearly a priority when you all get back in September. The other priority is the government running out of money at the end of September, and yet the White House is now asking Congress for more money. Joe Biden wants $40 billion in supplemental funding. For the start of the coming fiscal year, they want $24 billion in aid for Ukraine, an additional $24 billion after the tens of billions that we've sent already, $12 billion for disaster relief, but only $4 billion for the border crisis. And I don't think that $4 billion is actually going toward protecting the border agents. They say it's combating fentanyl. We're not sure where that $4 billion would go at the border. But, Congressman, how likely is it that Congress approves that money?
Well, I hope very small. I mean, there's a growing number of us that are just not going to keep the spending up. Economic security is national security, and we cannot keep spending. And no, where are the offsets that Biden is saying we need to cut to pay for this? There is no magic account to get this money. We've paid Ukraine over $100 billion. And now to come up with more, I mean, this isn't unexpected. Joe Biden can spend other people's money, and he does it brazenly, like apparently he's done with the tax dollars that he has not paid on money that's coming to him. But no, I think there's a growing number of us that's going to say no, and we'll see how it plays out. But if not now, when? When will we get this country back on economic footing? Because it's our national security is at stake.
It's all quite extraordinary, Congressman. Thanks very much for being here this morning. Ralph Norman joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.